Hello bros, I'm Michael Zero BroFive production. Next part, the Sakura MMO 2. Start from right here. So first of all, I have this. Really don't hold back, do you? Oh, but I was holding back. If I didn't rain in my power just a little, you'll be burned to ashes. And the rest of the forest along with you. Well, that's so reassuring. Eleri glowers at me. Not about. Well, you should at least thank me for watching out for you, you stupid woman. Stupid? How am I stupid? You never listen to what I say. You always assume you're the right and correct because you're noble and honorable. But that's why you lose so badly whenever you spar with me. Now, shut up and let me take care of you. I'm sitting in the bathroom of my homestead imposing Nightmare Citadel. I guess looking back on it, the name Nightmare Citadel is a bit over the top, but though it was cool when I first picked it out. This gothic western style castle located in the middle of a thick forest has served me well during the years of playing as online. Like, that sounds starting to be a little annoying because it didn't disappear like the other ones. Okay, I'm turning off sound completely. We're gonna do that. Oh, that's it. Oh god. Look at the viola only. That's a little creepy. Well, during 10 years of playing as online, the master bedroom is my favorite room, with a large oak 4 posters and its old-fashioned wardrobe filled with clothes, but this bathroom is pretty nice. I have several bathrooms in my home, but this is my favorite. It's modeled after a bathhouse. The high ceiling is supported by marble columns. Right now my little knight and I are sitting on the floor of a wooden stool, Japanese style, with while I scrub her exposed back. We're both completely naked, save for soap stains clinging to our bodies in the choice locations. When I hit the layer with the fire spell, she tried to twist away from me, but she wasn't quite fast enough. The spell caught her back and it seared straight through her clothes. It's fortunate my magical powers could fix her clothes in an instant. But her skin was a different matter. I healed the worst of the angry red wells with my magic, but the scars haven't completely healed. The pain hasn't faded yet either. I'm a proficient white mage. I'm proficient at most magic, really. And I can heal even major injuries caused by mundane weapons, swords, arrows, lances, etc. When it comes to healing wounds inflicted by magic, however, it can be a bit trickier. Magic wounds take a lot longer to close up completely and they require a bit more tender love and care. That's why I'm washing Eleri's back. She might be a stupid knight, but she's my stupid knight. I already taught her a lesson. Now it's my job to look after her wounds. How do you feel? I press the sponge against Eleri's back and scrub gently. I don't want to hurt her more than I have already. Eleri's bare body shivers beneath my touch, though I can see her face from this angle and wouldn't be surprised if she is wincing. I'm okay. Liar. I press the sponge down a little more force and gasp softly. Well, maybe it hurts a little. Just a little, alright, maybe it hurts. A lot, actually. Why did you hit me with a fire spell anyway? You were the one who told me I wasn't taking things seriously enough. I was just trying to make you happy, darling. I pressed the sponge down even harder against the puckered line of raised angry skin. So much for being gentle, and then a gap. You really are a sadist. Yep. You shouldn't answer me so cheerfully. Oh, and why not? It isn't something to be proud of. Hey, if you are allowed to be proud of your nicely code, or whatever it is, then I'm allowed to be proud of my unique skill when it comes to dominating cute girls. I'm not cute, and I'm hardly a girl either. I beg to differ. And me and all girls can be cute. They just need to have a bit more self-confidence. I'm confident in my ability with the blade. At least I was before I met you. Besides, I can't believe it. When we sparred dozens of times already and I've yet to beat you once. That's because you're stubborn. You think your way is right and you never listen to any of the advice I give you. But I don't like your advice. You tell me to sneak up on my enemies and fight with intent to kill. It's all so bloodthirsty. That isn't noble, it's not what knights do. I believe in fighting fair, even if my chances of victory are slim. And that is very sincere of you, but you can't expect everybody to be so virtuous as you are. I know I can't expect it. I live with you also. I don't want to abandon my morals. Then you will never be able to defeat me. It's as simple as that. I placed the bones against Eleri's back slowly, more careful this time. She is infuriating one, alright. Her skill with the sword are nothing to sneeze at. And she is a very hard-working woman. She always out in the forest training. If her thinking was a bit more flexible, she'd be a formidable foe even for me. It's a shame she is so very stubborn. I frown as I scrub at the layer scars. My fire spell are already starting to recede. But she has a few lingering cuts and bruises of her milky white skin, which will never go away no matter what magic I use. Oh crap, I could have looked outside the screen. She had these wounds for much too long. I'm sitting so close to Eleri, my breasts are almost pressing against her back. When I exhale, my breath dances across her back, of her neck, and makes her tremble. How did you get all these other scars anyway? I discard the sponge, damp the slick of the soap suds, and trail the tape from my fingers down the hairline cracks which crisscross her back. What happened? Well, it happened shortly after I arrived in Asta. I awoke in the middle of the forest. At the time, I didn't know where I was, and I was dazed and confused. I didn't know where I was or how I got to Asta, and I was scarred. A group of travelers passing by happened to find me. They said they would help me find shelter and a lodging spot. They didn't? No. They led me deeper and deeper into the forest until I was completely disoriented. Then they robbed me. They stole what few possessions I had. They took my sword and they even took my boots. They beat me and then they left me in my undergarments in the heart of the woods for dead. And so you fell a fool of bandits, did you? That's right. I can't see Eleri's face, but I'm sure she's wincing. I was a fool for being trusting, but I was desperate and afraid. It was through sheer luck that I was able to stumble through the gates on Moutier, already half dead. I was taken in by one of the village guards. They treated me and they found me a place to sleep and food to eat. I wanted to repay them for the kindness, so I offered to help them protect their city. They were skeptical at first, of course they would be, but when I showed them how proficient I was with a blade, they soon let me join the ranks. I was a guard at Moutier for several weeks before I met you, at which point I had already made a name for myself. I imagine you were one of the best at apprehending thieves. Indeed, I was rather passionate about it. I wanted to see if I could find those crooks who had swindled me during my first day in Asta, but I never did. It was a fruitless effort. Well, that explains why you were so adamant about punishing poor Holly. But don't worry about that now. You're with me, and I won't let anybody hurt, except for myself, of course. Is that supposed to make me feel better? I hope so. I draw my arms around the layers with a damp, wet sound and rest my head gently against her shoulder. Her body stiffens beneath mine, but the layer doesn't try to push me away. When you see protest, I think Eleri has grown rather fond of me. We have been living together in Astra for a month now. Though we have been searching Astra high and low, yet to find anybody else who was summoned into the fantasy world from Japan. We are united by our status as outsiders. It's a bond that can't be broken easily, not even by a fire spell or two. No matter what happens, we're together. If we look hard enough, I'm sure we learn why we were summoned to this place. Then you'll be able to go home, and you'll be safe. I want to keep you safe. You mean that? Of course, I promise. I might be a wicked witch Viola here that cost all of Asta for my mastery of the arcane arts, but I'm not evil. At least I don't think I am. Not that when I want to get a cute girl's good side. Now I wonder. Eleri seems pretty relaxed for once. Should I try taking things even further? So we have two choices. I guess I want to touch her all over, or she must be exhausted. I'll let her rest for now. I mean, when you take a bath, you get much more relaxed. You don't. So when you take a bath, you pretty much rest. So yes, I want to touch her all over. Well, now we're both together, I might as well. I'm going to enjoy this precious moment for as long as I can. And if it had been the patched version, that would have showed some sexy, pretty much. After my bath, I return to my boudier Eleri in tow. There I find Fion and Neve, a rather unusual combination. Fion, the twitching little thief girl I met in the Roseberry Forest, and Neve, my stalwart maid, don't get along at the best of times. Maybe they're learning how to get along. If that's the case, it would make me happy. But it seems more likely they were trying to overhear me and Eleri talking in the bathroom. As if to confirm my suspicion, Fion looks at me with enter the room, a sly smirk on her face. And where were you two, huh? Eleri glances at the one side, her cheeks an adorable shade of pale pink. She She might be a super cute. Whoever said pink doesn't go well with red had obviously never met Eleri, but if she blushes like that, she's going to make Theon and Neve suspicious. Theon is easy enough to deal with, but Neve can be a little possessive at times. I'm glad my mate cares about me so much, but sometimes I fear she cares about me a little too much. We were sparring in the forest just like usual. In the forest, huh? That's right. It's easier to fight in the forest. I care rather less about burning trees than I do my beloved bed. But if you were out in the forest, why could I hear the bath running a few minutes ago? I got so sweaty and I wanted to clean myself off. Is there anything unusual about that? No, but if you wanted a bath, you could have asked me to run one for you, my lady. As you made it my job to serve you. It's fine. I didn't want to bother you. You could never bother me, no matter it's too small. I live to serve you, my lady, so I would appreciate it if you could use me to the fullest degree. Well, thank you for the invitation. Maybe later. I take a seat on the bed and fold my leg over the other, suppressing a small sight. And I do having a harem of pretty girls at my beck and call would be fun. I suppose it's quite fun in a way, but I wish they wouldn't get so jealous of each other. I try to give everybody an equal amount of attention, but there's only one of me and 3 of them. I suppose I could always try to clone myself as high-level magic, and the clones only exist for a few minutes, but it might be enough to satiate my harem. That might be really interesting, but I can't stand the thought of letting anybody else, even if that anybody else is me, touching my possessions. How troublesome. I have to think about it later. Right now I have more pressing matters at hand. So what are we doing today? Are we going into Lantern again? I want to take one more quest. Over the last month or so, my party of 4 has been going to the nearby city of Linton to accept quests and at the Adventures Guild. I've been accepting any quest we can find in the hopes of learning why Eleri and I were summoned to Aspa. Then I might be able to learn how to return home to Japan. It's not like I'm in a hurry to go back, but I don't like the thought of being held a captive in this world against my will. The dog betroller makes her own destiny. Alright, now that sounds pretty cool. Unfortunately, we haven't learned anything yet, but I'm sure if we complete enough quests, we eventually stumble upon something. Actually, if I ever get into one of my favorite games, I wouldn't try to leave ever. I don't care that. I mean, according to me, the world is pretty crappy. Well, you could say like this. They are heaven, they are hell, but hell is earth where we are right now. So pretty much if we go to hell, it'd be pretty mundane instead of being actual hell, like this was. So, well, that makes sense, right? Of course, when I go into the city, I have to wear the disguise. The dog which Viola is well known in Aspa, and if I walked through the streets in my dog witch regale, it would cause quite a scene. Being a celebrity can be so exhausting at times. It has been a few days since we last went to Linton. I'm feeling suitable, well rested from our trip, and wouldn't mind the exercise. Although, Neve frowns and taps her lower lip with her index finger. I do wonder why you have been taking so many quests at the Adventures Guild, my lady. You are already the fair dark witch. You shouldn't run petty errands for others in disguise. It's beneath you. Hey, lighten up, Neve. Don't you think it's kind of fun? It isn't entirely unenjoyable, I suppose. But my lady is much too important to spend her days returning lost chicken or defeating common bog flies. Heh, you're such a snob, Neve. I am not a snob. I simply have my lady best wishes at heart. Fiona and Neve, unlike Eleri and I, are residents of Aspa. They weren't summoned here from the human world, or whatever you want to call it. And they don't know Eleri and I were really born in Japan. Neither do they know that I've been trying to figure out how to get back home. They're in the dark about the whole thing. While I feel a little guilty for not telling them the truth, it's probably the easiest this way. If they knew that their beloved home Aspa is nothing more than a video game in the human world and their NPCs without an autonomy, I'm sure it would give them quite a shock. Oh crap, I clicked outside the screen again. I don't know how to rule out this would work, and uncovering the truth could cause some kind of space-time rupture that irreparable destroy Aspa forever. That's why I haven't told them the truth. In fact, I doubt they'd believe me if I tried. You don't need to worry about my honor, Neve. I'm already told you I'm doing this on a whim. Nobody bothers to challenge me anymore. I haven't met a single strong opponent in months. Everyone in Aspa knows how powerful the Great Dark Witch is, and they're all too afraid to approach me. Waiting for the fools to challenge me has become rather tedious, so I thought I might as well take on new challenges of my own volition. That's all. I know that, and I appreciate it, but bogflies? Really? It's more fun than sitting around inside anyways, even if these quests are easy. Exactly. I might tire of doing quests like this after a while, particularly if they fail to offer up any interesting information. But I want to keep at it for just a little longer. Who knows? Today we might be met with a really interesting quest. I wouldn't hold out much hope, doubtless. You'll be asked to collect walnuts and animal hides again. It makes me wonder why these people leaving such simple requests can't go and do themselves. It ain't that complicated, really. Most people are too busy to go around killing wild animals for pelts. People have to work to make money, you know. My father was the same back when he ran his store. He was damn it. He was always going to the Adventures Guild in Motier and asking passing heroes if they gather this and that for him. Indeed, most people in Aspa can't use weapons or magic, so fighting monsters is out of the question. It's our job to do the fighting for them, and that's why we're compensated so handsomely for our time. I don't think we compensated handsomely enough. If all these housewives and store owners knew their requests were being fulfilled by the great witch Viola, they soon give us more coins for our efforts. If they knew it was with the witch Viola, they run away screaming. Well, you might be right. People are so foolish. They don't appreciate or understand you, not like I do. Well, it's a good thing I have you around, Neve. I'd never be lonely with you. Oh, my lady, do you really mean it? I mean everything I say. I'm not simply trying to placate her either. Life in Tokyo was dreadfully dull, but in Aspa I can do what I want and be who I want. There are no rules or restrictions. I'm finally free from my dull, boring everyday life, and I have people to share this newfound freedom with too. Neve, Fayon, and Eleri. I care about them and they care about me. That's why part of me doesn't want to leave Aspa. I want to stay here forever. But all the same. Now, let's get ready. We're going to Lintum today. I can't keep living in blissful ignorance. Who called me to Aspa? Why am I here? What do they want? And I don't know. But if I keep taking requests at the Adventures Guild, I might get a little closer to finding out. My mismatched group finally arrives in Lintum an hour later. To get to the city, we had to walk through the forest on foot, stepping over loose branches and twigs. Travel would be easier if we could use one of the handy hub crystals that exist in Aspa Online, but I haven't found any of these crystals in the real Aspa. To get between towns and cities you need to use your legs. That or carts and horses. It'd be easy if we could go to the Adventures Guild in Hawthorne, which is closer to my citadel, but after the events that occurred in Hawthorne last month, I doubt the villagers would be very welcoming. He even left quite a lasting impression that she unleashed a powerful spell in the middle of the market. Oh well, I don't mind walking that much. The forest is relaxing and the low-level moisture that lurk among the trees don't pose a real threat. Ah, finally. Fayon sights when we exit the thicket of trees, the lion lantern. She pauses, pouting, and rubs her ankle with her fingers. I hate walking through the woods. It takes ages. You should toughen yourself up a little. Perhaps you could start training in the morning with me. I don't know about that. The huge sword of yours would cut me in two. I won't try to hurt you, Theon. I promise. I ain't so sure. You did try and impression my sister and all. You can't believe her little puppy. Eleri is a proud knight, and knights don't like to harm others, even when it would be to their benefit. I give Eleri a pointed look, and she blushes. Eleri puts up such a tough front, but it's so easy to tear it down. And I don't think Eleri has a point. She used to live in the street, Theon, but you've become rather complacent since I took you in. A life of luxury must have turned you soft. Well, maybe I've gotten a little rusty, but taking on all these quests should toughen me up. I fail to see how collecting berries and catching fish could toughen anybody up. I hope they don't want us to fish today. It's so boring. You think everything is boring. Fiona sticks her tongue out at me with sighs. Well, we won't know what quests are waiting for us until we go into the guild, shall we? That's exactly what I was going to say. You might make a good second in command someday, Eleri. Huh? I thought I was supposed to be a second in command. Of course you're not, Neve. You're my precious maid and my right-hand woman. Then what about me? You're the family dog. I ain't a dog. Oh, but you are. You even bark on command. I ain't barking. Just stop teasing me. Only if you stop yapping. You really are proving my point. I pat the top of his messy blonde head and laughed, which earns me a scowl. I can't really take Fion's scowl seriously, though she's much too cute. The four of us start walking through the cobblestone streets of Linton. After a leisurely stroll, we arrive outside the Adventures Guild. I'm just about to step inside when I can see I'm wasting my time with you. You're nothing but a silly little girl. I tell everyone in Linton how uncooperative you've been, and then we see what happens to you and your guild. Good day. A tall gentleman storms of the guild in an obvious rage. He's dressed in a garb of a butler, and his hands are encased in white gloves. His clothes look very flashy. I'm sure they cost a lot of money. Does he serve a noble family? If he does, he certainly doesn't seem very polite. And you? He must have seen me looking, because he shouts me a nasty glare. What are you looking at? Neve takes a step forward, obviously ready to berate him, but I rest a restraining hand on her shoulder. I don't want her getting into a fight outside the guild. If possible, I like to avoid a scene like the one that happened at Harton Market. He wasn't looking at anything, my good sir. I apologize, as you should. The man snorts. At least some people around here still have respect for the Dees estate family. And with the hearty remark, he sails on. Neve watches his retreating back, her fingers balled into a fist. Why didn't you let me deal with him, my lady? You should need to apologize to a brute like that. I know, but sometimes a little apology can go a long way. But you're the great dark... Wait. I clap a hand on Neve's mouth. The streets are pretty deserted, but you can never tell who might be listening. Neve, please, I appreciate this sentiment, but I wouldn't want to cause a scene. I know I could defeat him with a click of my fingers. He's like an ant to me. Educating an insect like that is beneath me. It's easier to let him scurry on. I draw my hand away from Neve's mouth. When I convinced she returned to her senses. My mate's eyes evidently disappointed. Does she love blushed that much? But she begrudgingly accepts my words. Well, I suppose you know best. Indeed I do. I appreciate how loyal you are, Neve, but if you cause me any problems, I won't hesitate to discipline you. Now, let us go inside. Perhaps we learn why the gentleman was so angry. The four of us push open the heavy wooden door and enter the Adventures Guild. A bell chimes, letting the guildmaster know of our arrival. And as for the guildmaster herself, well... 33 minutes, 34 in... now. So, stop the recording there. So at least that was all I have for Sakura MMO 2 this time. That's how you like to subscribe. I'll see you next time. BroFive!